Greetings, everyone. I have this delightful little booklet. This is Chainmail, the game that Dungeons & Dragons was originally built off of. This was originally published by Guidon Games. I do believe out of Ohio, if I remember vaguely correctly. However, this is the 3rd edition of it, and being as such, is actually published by TSR Rules, and originally priced at $5. As you can see, it is not quite a foot long, so no $5 foot long for you today. But back in the good old days when we tried to measure our foot-long subs and see if we got our $5 worth of value. Those were the golden days. But anyways, this book is specifically the 3rd edition, 4th printing of it. The only thing I could find of this on, say, Amazon is a 3rd edition, 7th printing, which is selling for approximately $200 dues. So, $200 dues for a thin book like this. A piece of history, as you can say. As you can see that it has this plastic spine here, which is basically a very early and cheap ring binder system. As you open it up, it gives you the copyright date right here, as well as the title page for the book, stating that it's by Gary Gygax and Jeff Perren, illustrated by Don Lowry, published by TSR Rules, the original name of the company. On the following page, it states which printing this has been. This edition has been revised and expanded. 4th printing, March 1977. Copyright 1975. And I would believe this would be the edition or the version that would be sold typically promoted alongside original D&D box set, as it was the foundation of original D&D, and you had to have this booklet in order to play that game and have a clue what you're doing. So here we go. The table of contents ranges from pages 5 to 39, and then also into the tables section, which is from Appendix A to Appendix C, from 40 to 44. It is a simple black and white booklet with simple black and white photos. These could have been increased by 10% in size, as there's clearly enough space in the booklet for them to be a bit bigger and make it easier. But, in those days and times, it was exceedingly expensive to get photographs into a book. The introduction goes over the general origin of this game and a few other fun things. Another black and white photo. Then we're on to the title page with another little section about it, talking about turn sequences for your units, your missile units and your infantry units and your artillery and so forth, going through all the important details, as we can see here. I should turn back a page so you can actually look at that closer. And then the following page. And you can see the very origin of Dungeons & Dragons as a system in this booklet. A lot of it talks about proper spacing of units and angles of attack and so forth. As this being a war game, it is essential to measure out your unit's movement and the ranges very exactly, and keep proper timetables on your actions. You don't want to go out of turn or out of round. And then as we go here, we have the prisoner table and number of prisoners taken. And down here, the morale table. And moving on to the next place, the defender defending units, levies, and much more. I probably should do these videos with the book on the table and my camera pointing directly at it. You can slow down the video and pause at various points to read important little pieces. This is a section on man-to-man combat. For when your melee units clash up and get into a brawl. We're on to page 27-28, and moving on from 27 to 28 is the beginning of the fantasy section. This is the genesis point for Dungeons and Dragons, in which all tabletop role-playing games originate from. There are some games that occur from this time period, such as the Braunstein game, which is actually specifically a party game where you hand out various cards. And in the Braunstein game, you have a mayor. One person plays the mayor. They have a card with the name of the mayor, his position, his goal, and his secret. And then various other people in the group will be like the baker or the guard captain or something or else. And the people try to do their things within that framework. However, there is no real stats structure and no leveling like an actual tabletop role-playing game. It's essentially like Werewolf or a lot of those other party games. The Bro SR has kind of merged her tabletop role-playing games into the Braunstein framework, as they are largely people who don't actually know anyone who played in that era, and are of such a cult of origin, secret origin. They're essentially trying to discover the origin of all tabletop role-playing games and find the purest form. Sort of that crazy entropy is continuously ongoing, therefore the exact opposite of entropy is at the beginning, which is perfection. And therefore, whatever is at the beginning of time is the best version of everything. And I just literally described to you what the Bro SR is all about. They're essentially a secret cult of origin, secret origin cult. When in fact, the tabletop role-playing games came out of various other, as a hybrid of Wargames and other party games and other stuff like that, and then they merged into this concept. Was experimented and refined by Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax and Rob Kuntz and various other individuals, and it continued to evolve through original Dungeons and Dragons, basic Dungeons and Dragons, advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and on into the modern era. And some things became progressively more complex, and various other fun aspects of older editions disappeared because it became progressively more complex. This book, I would say, unless you truly want to have something of historical relevance to the tabletop role-playing game hobby, is not a terribly good idea to purchase. Unless you are someone who's truly willing to spend between $150 to $400 on a little booklet of literally everything I just showed you, and you can actually get this stuff for free, because I do believe this is also included in the lawsuit between Dave Arneson and Gary Gygax. So there's a public domain version that you can literally download for free of this and original Dungeons and Dragons, because Gary Gygax Dave Arneson sued Gary Gygax over the creation of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and suing him because Gary Gygax didn't want to pay Dave Arneson for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Which is this system right here. Even though that Gary Gygax did heavy modification of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons with a lot of his own concepts. Where the original Dungeons and Dragons was actually a hybrid of Dave Arneson's ideas and Gary Gygax's ideas. So, I do say, with this book, you have the power to understand an original D&D if you spend enough time reading and understanding classic wargaming systems. So, I do not recommend it, as I said before, but I hope you enjoyed checking out Chainmail Rules for Medieval Miniatures by Gary Gygax and Jeff Perren. 3rd edition, 4th printing, published by TSR Rules for the price of $5, which is now $200 to $300 worth. Or this is probably going to be priced around like $250. I'm holding $250 in my hand of booklet. So, this whole week, I'm going to do all these super short videos and string them out. And then I'm also going to throw in my regular videos. Please note that my Wi-Fi, my router, is starting to go to crap. So I might not be able to upload these regularly. So I'm going to literally have to go to work, upload them at work, and be spaced out or paced out more than usual. So there might be a little more inconsistency in my release schedule going forward. But with all luck, it should work itself. I should work it out because my new router should be coming in the mail sometime shortly after next weekend. So see you then. Ciao.